new thing that I guess is going to be built into our schedule, our weekly calls on Mondays at 12 p.m. Eastern. I've been doing these calls now since the whole quarantine thing started, and I think they've been useful. I know they've been fun for me. What we basically do here is I take your questions and we spend an hour where I answer as many as I can with the goal of providing enough feedback to hopefully get you to overcome any obstacles you might be struggling with. And even if there's nothing that's top of mind right now, my advice is still hang out through this entire 1 hour stream, because there's a good chance that somebody else's question might benefit you. And why not, right? It's an hour to hang out, make the most out of this time where we can't do much anyway, and hopefully get some value, hopefully be able to build a stronger business and get on that path to freedom through entrepreneurship. So the first thing I'll say is, since today is Memorial Day, I just do want to say thank you to everybody that either has had family or friends in the military that supported them. I really do appreciate everybody that risks everything for what we have, which is freedom, because without you and without the family and friend support, we would not be able to do what it is we do. So seriously, I'm grateful for that. I know a lot of people typically take this day to kick off summer, go to the beach, have a good time, but I figured, everything's closed here anyway, maybe where you are too. So why not do this on Monday anyway, hang out and answer some questions. So I should be streaming live right now to both Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on either of those channels, please go ahead and send in any questions that you have. So I also have questions that came in advance on Instagram, and I'm going to be answering those as well. If you see me looking off on the screen to the right, it's because that's where I have questions loaded up. But also submit your questions, please, through Facebook and through YouTube. And I'm going to be taking questions from everywhere. So let me just get the comments up on the screen so I can see what everybody has to say over here on YouTube. And then we will kick this off. And also, hope everybody's doing good, staying healthy, staying safe, obviously. Let me know in the comments where you're calling in from and how things are wherever you are. I'm always curious, like what's open, what's not, and is life close at least to back to normal? Okay, cool. I have my comments up here. See, we have Chua. What's up, Chua? And let's go ahead and start with Instagram. Okay, so the first question that came in was from Danny, and Danny said, can we use distributors who hold many brands as a supplier? So Danny, let me give you when this is okay. So basically what a distributor is a company that maybe you reach out directly to the brand that you want to get approved with, right? And you call them, you say, hey, brand ABC, I'm calling from antonsproducts.com. We would love to sell your products. Do you work with online retailers? And they say, oh, okay, Danny, that sounds good. But, in order to sell our products, we recommend you go through company, DEF, whatever. And company DEF is distributor that represents that brand and represents a group of other brands. I don't recommend this. There's times where it's okay, but the reason it's normally not is because a lot of companies that direct you through a distributor, once you get to that point of working with a distributor, there's already that middleman. And it's also less common that when you sell through a distributor, you have pricing control. What I mean by pricing control is minimum advertised price. And because you're not working directly with those brands who really care about their products and who care more about their brand image and are more protective over it, again, not 100% of the time, but there are a lot of situations where the distributors don't have these pricing controls that help us to be able to compete not based on price. So if you do get directed to a distributor, the first thing I would say is don't just seesaw communication. You could still open up that dialogue with them, say, hey, I was recommended by sales rep's name at company whatever, and we're interested in selling the products. Can you please send us more information? And then look at that next step, right? See if they do have pricing controls, see if the margins are there and them as a middleman didn't destroy the margin. And if those things check out, then you could be good to go. Another thing that people confuse sometimes that happens not often, but I don't know, maybe 2 to 5% of the time when you're reaching out to brands is you'll reach out to them and they'll direct you to another company who you might just assume is a distributor. But what that company is sometimes is actually a holding company for that brand you reached out to, and also other brands that are very similar. So for example, let's say you were going to be selling chandeliers online. You call Chandelier ABC company. They say, okay, if you want to sell our products, speak to company XYZ. You reach out to company XYZ, and what you might learn is company XYZ actually owns supplier ABC, they own supplier D, E, and F, and by getting one account, you're actually approved for all of these brands. So that's a little bit different, but it does come up, so something just to be aware of. In that case, what you're actually doing is still selling directly for that company, and you're also getting a whole bunch of brands with one shot. So you might find that as well. Okay, next question that came in is from K. Stevens, and he says, once getting approved by your first company, what are the next steps to maximize the opportunity? So I'm assuming, getting approved by your first supplier, what do you do next to make sure you have the best chance of getting a lot of sales for them? It would be not just uploading all the products to your store, but uploading them all to your store and trying to see what you can do unique that your competition isn't doing. So in my training program in the Dropship Blueprint, by the way, everybody, if you're new, you can learn more about that at dropshipwebinar.com. But what you can do is you get approved, you obviously upload the products to your website like you normally would. But before you start spending money on ads, before you start bringing in this big influx of traffic, you want to follow the lesson that I have called Their Weakness is Your Strength. And what I show you how to do there is look at all your competitors, see what they're doing that's good so you can at least match it, and see what they're doing that's bad so that you can improve on that and be able to capitalize on those sales. So instead of just being a Me Too brand or retailer, you now have a unique advantage. Again, that's in the Weakness is Your Strength training. So I realized what I've done the past few weeks is I've just done all Instagram questions first. And as this show grows, these live streams grow, we're getting more and more Instagram questions. So I'm going to come back to Instagram, but I'm also going to hop in to YouTube and to Facebook a little bit now, just to make sure that you guys don't get missed, because again, we're going to go for an hour. So let me do that now, and then we'll be back to Instagram. Okay, what do we got? We got Yashi, I don't know how to say it. What's the easiest way to $1 million in sales? I guess that's a loaded question, right? There's a lot that can go into that. But what I would say to begin with is where people get stuck. Let's assume you get everything right from steps 1 to 7 that I cover in my Dropship Blueprint, right? You pick the right niche, you do your market research, you build a store that's optimized for conversions, you get approved with the best suppliers, all silver and gold, you optimize your website for conversions, you get traffic, you outsource and automate, and you start making sales, and you're doing $50,000 a month in sales. Okay, how do I scale that up if I did everything right to begin with? Well, again, assuming you did everything right to begin with, really the best way is to spend more money on ads. And don't just think, go into your ad accounts and triple all your budgets, because that's not what I mean. There is a very specific way that we scale ads, whether that be on Facebook or on Google, but you need to spend more money. That's really what can take a store. Let's just say hypothetically, I bought a store that was doing $600,000 in sales a year, and it was already optimized and tweaked and had the best suppliers. The easiest way that I would personally try to take that $600K store to $3 million, let's say, in revenue is by looking at the ads, looking at all historical data, making decisions, and making a paid advertising game plan for the next 12 months, and looking at what I'm going to scale, when I'm going to scale it, and at what volume, because that's the easiest way to turn things up in a big way, assuming you did everything else right. Okay, we have Letsheb says, hey from Morocco, what's up? We have Deep Relaxation on YouTube is in Morocco too. That's cool. We got a Morocco crew. Here we have Parat, and it says, how can I outsource customer support? I want to make sure I hire somebody who is fluent in English and available during typical USA hours. So I'll tell you, at our companies, our support teams are are blended with where in the world they're from. We do have a support team that is based in the States, but we also have an even bigger support team that's based in the Philippines, and they are amazing. And in the Philippines, a lot of people speak English. A lot of them speak English very well. Some of them even correct my copy and grammatical mistakes when I'm posting things. So yeah, I would recommend hiring from the Philippines. And I would also recommend, like it's one thing to hire. This is something I could speak on for hours on its own. But when you're hiring, try to find somebody, if you want the US hours, that already, maybe in their current position, works that shift, because it actually is quite common that in the Philippines, a lot of people do work that night shift to them, because that's just what a lot of them do. I mean, a lot of the opportunities for them are in US hours. So find somebody that already is used to that. And then also make sure when they're answering phone calls, you're using a tool that records the calls so you can listen to them, you can improve, you can work with them to get even better. For that, we use a tool called Grasshopper. Okay, the next question came in from Parrot also, and it says, what's the best way to handle back orders? So I talk about this a lot. It really depends, right? So from a base level, the first thing you should do is in your Shopify settings, where you're putting in like how you're going to accept payments, and you're putting in the settings for that. Set it up so that when somebody pays, you're authorizing their card, but you're not actually capturing the payment. What this means is, let's say I went to your website and I bought something that cost $1,000. If you just set it to authorize, it's just going to basically do a test transaction on my account to make sure I have $1,000 available, but that charge isn't going to go through. That way you can actually confirm the item is in stock. And once you do, then you can click capture. That charge will actually go through and everything will proceed as normal. If the item is not in stock or back ordered, you can reach out to me as the customer and say, hey, this product is back ordered for 2 weeks, whatever it is. Do you want to hold your order and we can ship it when it's ready? If yes, then you could charge them. If not, maybe you try to offer them something that is currently in stock that's similar, or just let them know you can reach out to them again once it's back. But yeah, that's how we do it, specifically on stores where products in stock is not the norm. What you definitely don't want to do is accept orders that are back ordered and never say anything to the customers. As with most things, communication here is key. So the next question is from Lasheb, and it says, is it possible to run the dropship lifestyle model in the US, even if I'm not from the US? You tell that we can run the dropship lifestyle model in our home country, but those who don't want to run DSL model in their country. Yeah, so you can definitely use the dropship lifestyle model in the States if you're not from the States. We actually have a bonus training inside of Dropship Lifestyle in our members area that shows you how to do this. It's called Doing Business from Abroad. And we show you how to get set up with a US bank if you need one, a US LLC, an EIN number, and anything you would need. So yes, you can do that. Okay. The next question is from Digito Cash, and it says, my WC, so website conversion campaign, brings a lot of ATCs. So my website conversion campaign brings a lot of add to carts, but not many sales. What is a good strategy to troubleshoot this issue? So there's so many reasons why that could happen, right? Like, I don't know why people aren't buying from you. I'll tell you as like a KPI that we use is we want about half of our add to carts to actually buy. So if you have 100 add to carts and you don't have around 50 people actually converting, then I would start to troubleshoot things on your actual website, make sure everything's working correctly. But something else you can definitely do is install tools on your store that first record the screen from your visitor so you can see if anything's not working right. For that, I use a tool called Lucky Orange. You can go to luckyorange.com. You could see your customer moving around, where they're clicking, what's happening, to see if something's not working properly or if something might be causing them to leave. Something else that usually brings up your add to cart to purchase conversion rate is the payment methods you're accepting. The more the better. So if you can accept Shopify payments, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Shop Pay Now, Amazon payments, PayPal, give people more options. And also, if your shipping cost is really expensive, that can cause people to back out at the last second. And then finally, you can install tools. There's a bunch of them that do it, but that have these little like pop-ups that come up and these little things in the bottom right of the screen that will survey the customer. So while they're on that screen, let's just say they're there on the cart for 3 minutes and they haven't bought yet, you could have a little thing pop up asking them, do they need any help? Do they have any questions? Why aren't they buying? And try to use that feedback to improve moving forward. Okay, cool. So I'm going to take some questions now, guys, from Facebook, and then we're going to go back in a circle. We're going to go back from Facebook to Instagram and back to YouTube because we are live streaming all over the place. Okay, on Facebook, we got Mark came in first, and he said, what are your thoughts on EDI and inventory feed apps? Inventory is tough with multiple suppliers looking for a quality service. Yeah, Mark, so we don't use EDI at all. What we do is really just upload everything to our stores straight from CSV. We typically just set inventory ourselves at arbitrary numbers that are high. And what we really track are the products that are our best sellers, because the 80-20 rule definitely applies to building an online store. And if you have, let's just say, 100 products on your store, you probably have 20 of them that are your best sellers. And out of those 20, you probably have 4 that are your true best sellers, the ones that sell over and over and over again. And for those are the ones that we actively monitor inventory for by looking at reports from our suppliers. And if we ever see that there is an issue, maybe specifically with one supplier, those are the ones where we'll proactively update those product pages, but we don't have some type of EDI running nonstop that's dynamically updating all the products on our site. We've never done that and honestly haven't seen a need to. Okay, the next question on Facebook is from Elic Chess, and it says, I'm selling oversized products on FBM. I can't get good offers from UPS or FedEx. Shipping prices are very high. Yeah, if you're shipping, large and heavy items and you're trying to use like FedEx or UPS, the prices are going to be astronomical because they do offer freight services, but that's not their core business. So the prices are through the roof. You'll want to ship directly with freight carriers. So there's a bunch of them that you can use just to get some quotes for yourself to see how much you can actually save. A good starting point would be to go to freightcenter.com, enter a potential shipment information, and then you can see the price if you were going to ship via freight, like actual freight versus UPS or FedEx. So I would recommend that. Check out freightcenter.com. Okay, the next question is, before I answer that, I know we had a bunch of people that just hopped on because I see the numbers going up on YouTube and Facebook. So if you just hopped on, let me just say welcome. If this is your first time watching one of these live streams, I've been doing these for the past 2 months now. I lost track of time ever since the whole coronavirus thing started. And the purpose of these streams is to spend an hour together where I can answer as many questions as I can. So if you have a question, my advice is to ask it sooner rather than later, because I'm literally starting at the top of the lists, working my way down, and we will wrap up in about an hour. So that way I don't lose my voice like I did a few weeks ago. So ask your questions now and I will get to them. And also for anybody that's new, if you're looking for the best way to get started, I'm going to put the link on the screen. Once we wrap up this call, be sure to go to dropshipwebinar.com, get a free training from me there, and learn how we build highly profitable semi-automated stores. And I also make a really good offer for my flagship program that is called the Dropship Blueprint. But back to the questions. We got one here from Kevin on Facebook, and he says, do you have any tips on finding US dropshippers? I have a lot of them. Here, let me just switch here so I'll show you this. If you go, come on, mouse. If you go to our website, dropshiplifestyle.com, you can just click here to get the free training. That'll take you through a whole free training that describes that. But also, if you scroll to the footer of our website, you'll see, can you see on the screen right now? We have all these different sections of our blog that are linked from the homepage in the footer. And we have one here called Dropshipping Suppliers. And if you click into that, you can go through, literally click into here, and you have all these resources, all free on our blog. These are all different lists about sourcing suppliers, obviously all from the States. So check that out. It should definitely help you out. Okay, let me hop back on this screen and go to the next question. Well, this isn't a question, just from Darren. Darren says, hey, Anton. What is up, Darren? Here we have Eric says, hi, Anthony. Not Anthony, just Anton. He says, I know you teach how to do drop shipping, but with local suppliers. Now I want to drop ship in the US and Europe. My issue is since I'm from East Africa, it's not possible to find suppliers of my products here. Yes, I think you asked this question earlier, but like I mentioned earlier, you can do business in the States if you're not from the States. We have a bonus training inside of Dropship Lifestyle called Doing Business from Abroad. So if you're a member, check that out. It should definitely help you. I'm gonna hop back in here to Instagram, do a few questions from here, then we'll get back to YouTube. But this one came in from Elaine, and it says, how to scale on Facebook, please. Okay. So let me switch the screen here, pull up the digital whiteboard. I've done a podcast on this, my podcast, eCommerce Lifestyle, so you might want to check that out. But when it comes to Facebook and scaling, what you want to do, like what actions you want to take, depend on where you're at in your business. And what I recommend doing is basically breaking this up into 3 different stages, okay? So stage 1 of scaling Facebook ads is when your store is really, it's not maxed out. It's not as profitable as it can be. Maybe it's new, and maybe your goal is to get the highest ROAS possible. Now, ROAS stands for return on ad spend. And what this means is how much money you get back for every dollar you put into ads. And in stage 1, you want your ROAS as high as possible because maybe you don't have a bankroll yet. Your store is not just like, taking off. And for stage 1, what you want to do is invest all of your Facebook budget into DPAs. And what that stands for is dynamic product ads. And specifically, you want to do this in stage 1 with remarketing. Now, what that means is this is just going to show to people that have already visited your website. And as far as like scale and budget, all you want to do is take 10% of your total ad budget and put it into this. Okay, so 10% of whatever you are spending on Google ads, like the intent-based ones, put that into dynamic product ads on Facebook for remarketing. That's where you're going to be able to scale and get the most money, 10% total budget. Now, stage 2 is where your business is already running along, it's making money, you're all good, you have a bankroll now, and you can afford to have a good return on ad spend, but not, again, those breakout levels. And what you can do here is start targeting lookalike audiences with products. So what you would do here is you'll have your customer base inside of Facebook, right? The people that have bought from your store, the purchases. You can build lookalike audiences of your highest value customers, and then you can run ads to them. Now, because these people don't have intent, meaning they haven't searched for the products you have to sell, again, the conversion rates aren't going to be there. The click-through rates aren't going to be there. But if you set up the ads correctly, you can make money here, specifically when you're doing it as offers and not just showing them products. So an example could be your store sells stand-up paddleboards. In stage 2, you put together this awesome product page for a paddleboard that comes with a free paddle, comes with a free leash, comes with a 1-year warranty, whatever that is. Then you can promote that as an offer to make money in stage 2. If you do it right, you can still have a good return on ad spend, but not as high as stage 1. And then finally, the way that we scale Facebook ads and the way that you can too is by going into stage 3. Here is where your return on ad spend is going to be the lowest, and it's going to take the longest for you to get that money back in return on ad spend. Whereas stage 1, you're getting your money back within 2 to 3 days. In stage 2, maybe you're getting your ads back, your money back between 3 and 10 days. Again, if you do it right, you can make mistakes at any point here. But stage 3 is where you're really playing the long game. And here, what you're doing is running lead gen ads. So let's say, again, you're selling stand-up paddleboards. Maybe you put together a really awesome resource like an ebook on the history of stand-up paddleboarding, or some type of ultimate buyer's guide, or how to stand up paddleboard, or the top 50 stand-up paddleboarding destinations, whatever it is, something that would attract your buyer. In stage 3, you can create lead ads for these people and show them these ads, build your email list that you're remarketing to in the future. That can make you money. But as far as scaling goes, again, start with stage 1. That's where the money is. Max that out. Then you can incorporate stage 2. Max that out. Then you can incorporate stage 3. Let me switch back to the main camera here and see where we are at. This question is from somebody called Honey, and they said, good day. My question is it hard to get your first sale drop shipping? The short answer is no. What you should know though is it's easy to get just one sale, but you want to build systems that get sales repeatedly over and over and over. But if you just wanted to get the ball rolling, get the first profitable sale into your business, I've actually done videos on dropshiplifestyle.com on this in the past, but you can post ads to Craigslist for free. You can do it in targeted cities, and that usually is enough to get a couple sales coming in, get your first cash flow, and then start reinvesting into ads. But that's what you want to do to scale. Paid traffic is the answer. You can start for free though. Okay, next question is from Jahan, and he said, I want to become really good at dropshipping. Is it smart to buy dropshipping courses? Well, obviously I have one, so I would say that if you buy ours, it is. But in all seriousness, what I recommend to everybody is go through somebody's free content, right? Like, for example, this is free content right now. On dropshipwebinar.com, that's a almost 3 hour free training. On our blog, we have 7 years of posts. Go through that, put it into action, see if you can make money. And if you can, then it makes sense to invest into the program that'll take you step by step, A to Z. What I don't recommend you do is just see an ad online from some kid that pops up with a Lamborghini and say, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy this, because most of the online courses out there are complete scams. Okay. I am going to go back to YouTube now, and then we'll go back, hop on over to Facebook. But let me know, guys, if you're seeing this video, if you're watching right now, whether that be on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, give the video a thumbs up. Let me know by doing that. And I want to see these numbers increase. So that really helps. Hit that like button or thumbs up button based on what platform you are on. Okay. Next question from YouTube is from Wonderlust Drones. It says, hi, Anton, this is Sean. Wonderful program. Thank you. I appreciate that. He says, I have a company that sells products that doesn't have brand names, just generic names. Should I mark up my prices since there isn't MAP? Yes, definitely. So I've talked about this again in different podcasts and in my program, but if you're private labeling, which sounds like you're selling something that has no name, first of all, make a name, right? Create your own brand for that product. And because it's your brand, you can charge whatever you want. That doesn't mean to set some crazy price that nobody will ever buy, but I would definitely build in healthy margins so that you can afford to spend more to acquire customers, because typically the person that can spend the most to acquire a new customer wins. Okay. Next question says, 90% of my sales come from one supplier. Should I try increasing bids for other brands to diversify? Yeah, you could definitely do that. I teach you how to do this in module 6 of the Dropship Blueprint, specifically in the Google Ads for e-commerce training. But what you can do is just segment out your different Google shopping campaigns by supplier. You can build one for each supplier, and then whatever's working, leave that as it is. For the new ones that you segment out, experiment with different bids and see what happens. But you could definitely do that. Okay, Dashia says, is there someone from Dropship Lifestyle that can approve or check my selected product before I begin building my website? Yeah, so I think you're talking about verifying your niche. Let me actually take that question off the screen and come here, and I want to show you how to request that and how we do it. So let's switch back to here, and I'm going to log into our members area. Okay. When you log into the members area and it says Dropship Blueprint, what you want to do is click Start Lesson. And when you do that, it'll open up, obviously, our main program. I'll give it a second. And then you'll see here in the sidebar, it says Get Your Niche Verified. So click that, and it's going to walk you through the process for how you can submit your niches to us and how we can verify your niche and give you the green light, or tell you maybe you want to consider this instead, or just help you to verify that the time spent moving forward will be spent in a profitable way. But definitely use that tool. Okay. Next question is from Steven. Where did my mouse go? Come on, mouse. Oh, by the way, did anybody notice the cat is back in the background? I had the cat in videos for I don't know, a couple weeks, and somebody said it's supposed to be a lucky cat. It's a Chinese thing, but I had it in the videos for a couple weeks, and somebody commented on YouTube, and they were like, "Hey, can you remove that cat? It's pretty distracting." And I was like, whatever. I guess if somebody's saying it, multiple people probably think it, and I removed it. And then we got literally like probably 5 emails or more from people saying what happened to the cat. So he's back. He's sticking around. We got more people missing him than the one guy that said it was distracting. Yeah, bringing the luck up. Okay, the next question though came in from Steven, and he said, do you have a video about apps a Shopify account should have? Yeah, when you go to, here, let me switch quickly. When you go to Dropship Lifestyle on our website, if you click into the blog, you can search, see the top right, there's searching. Just type in top 20 apps, because I actually have a blog post about the top 20 apps for Shopify. So you could find that on dropshiplifestyle.com/blog. Okay, answered that question. Let's get back into Facebook questions. Let's see what we got over here. Next question on Facebook was from Will. And Will says, what's the ideal upfront capital to have set aside for marketing and promotions? So it sounds crazy, but you really don't need a lot of money to get into this. When you first create your Facebook ad account and when you first create your Google ad account, they will each give you a $100 voucher, basically free money to, I don't want to say play around with, but to get started with. And honestly, that's more than enough to start generating sales. So what I typically recommend is first month's ad budget should be between $500 and $1,000. But remember, you're getting $200 for free. And also, if you follow my training inside of Dropship Lifestyle, sales should start coming in within 2 to 3 days of paid ads being on. So you're basically just reinvesting money into paid traffic. Okay, next question is from Rashab, and it says, your course is guiding to ads scratch to advanced. Not really a question, but yeah. Dropship Lifestyle is created to help people that are literally starting from like zero, and it's taught in a way that anybody can understand, but it also shares really advanced strategies. So yes, it's like for beginners, but it's sharing advanced strategies in a way that anybody can copy. And the way it's shared is by me sharing my screen and watching me do everything, like as I set up new accounts. Okay, the next question is from Abraham, and Abraham says, hi, Anton, do you think this model works in Mexico? And what do you think about what's happening on Instagram and TikTok target campaigns regarding marketing and direct purchasing? Yes, so we have many members in Mexico. Most of them are doing business in the States, which you can totally do. As far as being able to purchase directly through Instagram and through TikTok, I'll tell you, TikTok is something we're just experimenting with. It's not profitable for us yet, so don't expect, some big breakthrough and revamp of our whole marketing strategy anytime soon. But with Instagram, they make it super easy to integrate that with Shopify. So yes, I recommend adding that and using it. Solo Marketer on Facebook says, what's the best platform to advertise if we're just starting out? Google Shopping Ads, number 1, Facebook Remarketing, number 2. Alex says, could you give advice for a shipping company for big boxes? 42 by 32 by 15, 90 pounds. It's parcels, not freight. Yeah, so I would still recommend getting quotes from freight carriers. So if your pricing on a package that size is still super high with UPS and FedEx, you don't even have to talk to anybody. Just go to freightcenter.com and it'll allow you to enter the shipping, the origin address, so wherever your supplier is located, and then enter the customer address, so wherever your customer is. Then it'll allow you to type in, the dimensions, the weight, and then you can get a real-time quote. So what I would recommend you do, even if you're saying it doesn't have to ship via freight, is just go to your last, 5 or 10 customers, get that data, warehouse address, customer address, package size, put it in to ups.com, put it into Facebook, put it into FedEx.com, put it into freightcenter.com, and then just keep a spreadsheet, look at the differences, and see how much you're spending or how much you could save. Okay. Valerie says, is it better to start out with one niche or related niches? For example, to sell blenders, coffee makers, microwaves, etc., instead of just blenders. So Valerie, I recommend one niche per store. So one product type per store. What I would recommend you do is in the future possibly expand. So maybe you have a blender store and then maybe store number 2 sells coffee machines, but build store number 1 in this hypothetical, the blender store first. Get the blender store set up perfectly, get it cranking out money, get it optimized, and only then build store 2. Because I always build niche stores. I always have recommended building niche stores. So some people get started and they're like, okay, I'm going to build, 5 niche stores at once. I don't recommend that because it's not easy to do simultaneously, but it's easy to do once you've perfected the system on one store. Once you have that down and it's working, then it's easy to replicate over and over again. So get store number 1 working and then build the other stores after the fact. Okay. So I'm going to go back to Instagram for a bit, then we'll go back to YouTube questions and then back to Facebook again. But what's everybody think so far? You guys getting value from this? Is this a good way to spend time on Monday? Let me know. I'm enjoying it. That's why I came into the studio just for an hour. But no, I really do enjoying these. Okay, next question is something that has come up every single week, but I'm going to answer it anyway because it's obviously on people's minds. This is from the Instagram name is Badge, so I don't know what your real name is. It says, is it a good idea to start drop shipping during Corona? And can we ship products through China? So I've talked about this a lot, but yes, it's a good idea to start now. Ad costs are at historic lows because there's less competition. So it's literally easier than it's been in probably 3 or 4 years to run paid ads. With shipping through China, I do not recommend shipping through China. Everybody should know that. If you don't, go to that website linked below after this call, dropshipwebinar.com. But the good news is most of our suppliers in the States, they still have their products manufactured in China, and the products have been back to being manufactured and back to being shipped to the States probably for the last, again, I'm losing track of time, probably the last 3 weeks or so. So if your suppliers are in the States or Australia or wherever, but they're getting their products from China, things are shipping almost as good and as fast as they were pre-COVID. So don't drop ship from China, but drop shipping in general, yes, it's a good time to get started. Okay. AI says, how do we look for US suppliers? Yeah, go to dropshipwebinar.com, show you exactly how to do it. Steven says, what's the difference between Google shopping ads and surfaces across Google? Okay, let me actually just show you. I'll switch screens. 1 second here. Pull this screen up. Okay, so I'm on google.com, right? And let's just say I was buying, we'll do our evergreen example, stand-up paddleboard. So I search for that. Now, see here on top, these products. Let me actually zoom in so you can see it better. It says sponsored, right? You see that sponsored? These are shopping ads. Okay, whenever it says sponsored on Google, it means the thing you're seeing there is there because somebody spent money to have it there. So that's a Google shopping ad. Now, when I click here where it says see stand-up paddleboards, or when I click the second tab that says shopping, I'll just click that one, the second tab that says shopping. You'll see here this top line of products, right? On the right, again, it's tiny. Let me zoom in. You see here it says sponsored. So again, this top line of products are also Google shopping ads. So every company that's there is paying to be there. Now, when I come down here, you'll see it says most popular, and then it has all different paddleboards and everything basically under sponsored. These are now free Google product listings. I did a podcast, I think it was last Thursday, about this topic and how it's different. But when you enable now inside of your Google Merchant Center account, surfaces across Google, you can appear for free in Google product listings. But remember, Google product listings are not Google product listing ads. Ads are what get those top spots, which really is where you want to be. So the top row here, and again, just the homepage of Google, Google search results showing products up there, those are Google shopping ads. So hope that answers your question, Steven. Okay, let me hop back in here. Jasi says, easiest way to explain to customers our order cancellation fee and etc. with other fees. So with whatever fees that you're going to have, first of all, I do recommend having a policy, like if it's order cancellations, give people a 24-hour grace period just in case they messed up or something. You always kind of want to think of it like you want to treat customers as you would want to be treated. And if products aren't shipping out for 24 hours anyway, then let it just be a canceled order. But as far as your policies, make sure you have your policy pages. So shipping and returns and your privacy policy and order agreement. And on those pages, make sure any charges you do have, for example, customer pays return shipping charge, make sure they're all clearly stated there. So in case anything does come up like that, you can simply link them to the page and show them what they agreed to when they ordered. Okay, next question is from the Forex Gamer, mixing together two very different industries there. It says, question, drop shipping from China to build credibility, then going domestic to get buyers on board. Good idea. Good question, but no, it's not. Because what is most likely going to happen is when you try to set up your store drop shipping from China to build credibility, you're actually going to run into more headaches than you would run into starting with domestic suppliers from day one, meaning, faulty product quality, long shipping times, no options for returns. So instead of building credibility, you're going to build yourself a headache, and you might even build yourself negative reviews and negative feedback from customers. And I want to be clear on this again, because somebody in one of my YouTube videos spammed the comments and posted the same thing 1,000 times. And they were like, oh, it's racist to say you don't drop ship from China. What's wrong with China? Listen, there's nothing wrong with products made in China, okay? I've said this, I've been clear on this, but again, I even just mentioned this 10 minutes ago. Most of our suppliers in the US have their products manufactured in China. That is not the problem. The problem is drop shipping from China, because when you're doing that, you're not selling for any established brands. The products are taking long to ship. They're arriving to the customers' homes, usually in dirty boxes that have been on weird ocean containers for a month or on a plane mixed in with a bunch of other stuff. They have Chinese lettering on all of them. The matching on the brand doesn't match what you have on your store, and it leads to a really negative customer experience. So products made in China aren't bad. Drop shipping from China is terrible. Hope we're clear on that. Next question, Michael. Michael says, have you ever considered utilizing one of the fulfillment companies that would let you take some brands that don't drop ship all products? Michael, for fulfillment companies, only when we're doing we're going the private label approach and trying to do it at scale. But for just normal drop shipping, no. What we have done, which is similar and what might be what you're alluding to, is, let's just say, and this isn't for a new store, by the way, so everyone's on the same page. I don't recommend doing this from day one. Again, there's different stages to this, but once you're up, you're profitable, you're making a bunch of money, you got a bankroll, maybe there's one gold supplier that you've been after for years, and the only way you can get approved to sell for them, they say, is if you actually stock our products. Well, what we've done in that situation is try to work out deals with them where we're actually pre-purchasing inventory, but they're still holding it, and they're still drop shipping it. So maybe, okay, listen, we really do want to sell your stuff. We don't have a warehouse. We don't want to use a fulfillment center. What if we buy 25 units of SKU 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when we sell them, either you ship them on our account, or we send you a shipping label, or we send you a BOL from the freight carrier. So that is what I prefer in that scenario. And again, not when you're just starting out. Okay, Lashub says, Anton, when we're trying to connect with suppliers for approval, can we outsource the calls to native English speakers on Upwork? I don't recommend that. And a couple of reasons. The main one is the relationship between you and the supplier is it's everything. I talk about this all the time, but with this business and drop shipping, relationships are more important than anything. Relationships between you and your suppliers, relationships between you and your customers. And I would never want anybody else being responsible for my relationship with a supplier that we can potentially make millions of dollars with. So let's say you're really not comfortable on the phone, right? Okay, I still would recommend just doing it anyway. But if you really can't get over that barrier, then use email communication and get good at it. But what I'll also say is we have students, again, from all over the world. And I can think right now of multiple people, like even their names and their countries, who were in that same situation. They were super scared to ever pick up the phone and call suppliers because English wasn't their native language, because they didn't know how the suppliers would react. And they have done amazing. So it's not about accents. It's about being able to make money together. And I would say just try it, because if you don't, you'll never know. But don't outsource that. And whenever anybody says they'll offer that service, don't. Relationships are everything. Okay. Kudzai says, hi, Anton, is dropshipping dead? No, it's not. People have been saying dropshipping's dead since I started in 2007. Yeah, it's not. I talk about this a lot also, but dropshipping is a high-level term, right? There's many different ways to do dropshipping. You can do arbitrage and try to dropship items from eBay to Amazon or vice versa. You can try to dropship from China using AliExpress. You can try to dropship from a store down the block from you where you list products online, and when you sell them, you go in and buy them. So there's all these different ways that kind of flared up in popularity and died out. But at like the definition, the core of dropshipping, all it means is you're selling products and somebody else is fulfilling those orders. And that's not dying anytime soon. Now, the way you optimize for conversions, the way you get traffic, the way you communicate with customers, those things might change, but the business model isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Okay, Naomi says, if we choose a niche for profitability, but we don't know much about the products, how do you help with creating content? So great question, and another huge sticking point for a lot of people. I'll tell you, I have sold in dozens of niches that I've went into not knowing a thing about the products. And all I can tell you is you're gonna learn over time. And it's something that you're gonna start with a base level education. I do recommend trying to learn like a fundamental, I guess, or a foundational level of knowledge for that niche. So maybe that's watching a few YouTube videos. Maybe that's reading some blogs. Maybe that's even ordering some books. Like I have my, my business bookshelf, which probably has, I don't know, 200 business books on it. But then I have this other bookshelf that I never show. And that one has my books about completely random topics. But those topics are either things that I've either created stores about or considered creating stores about. So what I'll do is just order a few $10 books, read up on them, get that foundational level knowledge, build the store, and then content will come from there. And just to build on that, some people are scared because they're like, what if I build my store and somebody calls in and they have a question about product ABC and I know nothing about it? It's totally fine. I learned this lesson when I was a golf caddy when I was like 16 years old. Somebody was asking me to read the putts and I had no idea how to read putts, but I told the guy, I'm like, oh yeah, hit it over the right and it's gonna go to the left and yeah, you'll get it in. No idea what I was doing. He hit the putt. It didn't do what I said it was gonna do. And he said, listen, if you don't know the answer, just tell me you don't know the answer and we'll figure it out. And I was like, oh, genius, right? Genius idea. So I actually took that into building my first e-commerce store, that lesson. And well, for that golf day, I should say, like the rest of the holes, whenever the guy needed to putt and needed to read, I would just ask the other caddy that I was working with who had experience, we'd get the answer. Guy was totally happy, gave me a huge tip, right? So that's lesson learned. So what I started doing on my first e-commerce store, where I was dropshipping products I knew nothing about, people would call in and I wouldn't say, hey, this is Anton, owner of this store. I would just say, hey, this is Anton from blah, blah, blah. How can I help you? And they would ask questions. And I would say, you know what? That's an excellent question. I want to make sure I get you the right answer. So can I take down your name, email, and number, and I'll get right back to you? Okay. I would take it down. I would hang up. I would call the supplier. I would ask that question. I would then learn the answer. I would call the person back. I would get the sale. And then now I would have that knowledge myself. I would update our product pages with this extra information. So it comes with time. That's what I would say. But don't be scared to get started because I do it all the time still. Okay, let me hop back into Facebook and take some more questions from here. And what do we got? Alyssa says, can I drop ship products in the US, but run the business from Thailand? How would the taxes work? I mean, yeah, definitely. So I'm not sure if you're Thai or not, but I lived in Thailand for a year and I ran all of our businesses in the States. They were still set up as US corporations. The main benefit is you can take advantage of the foreign earned income exclusion, which I think now is up to like your first $105,000 of income. So you can save a good amount of money. But yeah, I mean, I just used my US entities, but did business from Thailand and then from Vietnam for 3 years. Solo Marketer says payment gateway is an issue for supported countries. Yeah, so I actually have a podcast. It's coming out this Thursday. My podcast is called eCommerce Lifestyle, by the way. If anybody is watching this right now and not subscribed, here, let me show this. Go to this website, ecommercelifestyle.com. The episode that's coming out Thursday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern is about alternative payment gateways for Shopify. So go there, subscribe, and check Thursday morning. That's the topic of this of the next podcast. Thursday morning, 6 a.m. Okay. Yelena says, how many products is better to sell in one niche? Yeah, so there's not a limit. What you want to do is sell for all of the silver and gold suppliers in your niche and list all of the products that are $200 or more. If you want to know how to verify a supplier is gold or silver, after this call, go to dropshipwebinar.com. You'll also learn what a bronze supplier is and why you never want to work with them. Okay, next question from Wad. What are some things you can do to scale your sales? Wad, I think you're a member of Dropship Lifestyle. The biggest things that you can do are like, and the reason I'm not just gonna like go through answers now is because I do recognize your name from Dropship Lifestyle Labs, our members only Facebook group. But the best things you can do now once you're set up is just keep revisiting modules 5 and module 6. Module 5 is all about, here, I'll just share it too, is all about conversion optimization. And module 6 is obviously all about getting traffic. And where are we here? Cool, I got the screen shared again. So here I'm in the Dropship Blueprint and we'll scroll down. So module 5, go through all of these lessons again. Even if you've watched them twice, I'm sure there's things you'll pick up the second time around. Also, these lessons are updated at least once a year. So go through them again, see if there's anything missing, get that implemented. And then in module 6, everything for traffic, make sure you go through all of these lessons again. Maybe there was one little thing you missed. Maybe there was one whole section that you were like, oh, I'll come back to this, but implement everything from there. And yeah, that's the best way to scale with Dropship Lifestyle. 5 and 6 are the money makers, assuming everything else was done right. I have to keep saying that just so everyone's on the same page. Okay. One more question from Facebook before I hop back to Instagram. This is from Mario, and Mario says, what do you think about a product? What do you do with a product that is getting most of the clicks and spending most of the money in an ad group? So Mario, if you think, I mean, first of all, hopefully that's a good thing, right? Hopefully it's making you money. But if you think that your other products aren't getting their fair share of ad spend, what I would do is, like the way that I show you how to set up Google Ads in the Google Ads lesson in the Dropship Blueprint, is I would go into your ad sets. I would look at product groups, and we have product groups as products. And then for all of the other ones, besides the one that's currently eating the budget, I would inch up those budgets. So let's just say hypothetically, right now, your product groups in Google Ads, meaning your products, are all bid at 40 cents. I would leave the product that's currently working at 40 cents, and I would update all the other bids to 45 cents. Give it a week, see what happens. Are the numbers improving? Good. If not, maybe you want to go in, make that 50 cents, but don't touch that the outlier, the one that's already winning, because it sounds like you have the correct cost per click bid in for that winner, and the others might be bid too low, assuming the search volume is there. Okay, back to Instagram for some questions here. And let me see how we're doing over here. What I'll say, guys, is we have like 10 more minutes on this call. So if you didn't ask a question yet, ask it now, because I don't think I'm going to get to all of them, but the higher up they are in the list, the better chances there are of me getting to them. Okay. Anik on Instagram said, can we sell Shopify products with mobile? Not really sure what you mean. If you mean, can people buy from your store on mobile? Absolutely. One of the things I love about Shopify payments is that you can literally, with a click of a button, accept Apple Pay and Google Pay, and now Shop Pay also. So while the person is on your store, they can, if they're on an iPhone and they have Apple Pay, it'll say, do you want to pay with Apple Pay? And if they click that, it's going to pre-populate the shipping address, the billing address, and their payment method, so they can check out in like 5 seconds. So yeah, people can definitely buy from you. If you're asking, can you build your store on a mobile phone? You can, but I wouldn't recommend that. That would be like building a house with a handsaw and a hammer when you can have circular saws and, air pressure nail guns. So yeah, hope that answers that question. Oh, and that was the question. It says without a laptop. So yeah, again, you can, but even like the cheapest laptop you could find, even a Chromebook for $100 is gonna be fine. You don't need an expensive computer, but get a computer. Ush says, what's the cheapest and best ways to test channels for marketing? So like I mentioned, the best way to start is Google Shopping Ads, 90% of your budget, Facebook Dynamic Remarketing, 10% of your budget. And like I mentioned earlier on this call, if you just want to get the ball rolling, get a couple sales in quick, you can use Craigslist. Okay. Somebody asked about ePacket. I know these questions came in earlier, but we don't use ePacket because we don't drop ship from China. And then finally, Edgar says, where and how can I find the best suppliers? Any platforms for that? So I'm just going to share this again, guys. I do recommend if that's where you are, you're starting your journey, or even if you've been doing this, but you're not profitable yet, go to dropshipwebinar.com. But I want to share this again for anybody that wants maybe some more, free information on supplier sourcing. The webinar really is the best spot, but you can also go to dropshiplifestyle.com. And right now I'm on /blog. We put out 2 new blog posts every week, and we have for like 7 years. So there's a ton of value here. The photo of me with a wig in addition, but you can also, let me move that off. In the footer, look at these navigation links. So we have how to start a business, how to do niche selection, different articles on mindset and motivation. Dropshipping suppliers is right here, so you'll want to check that out. Sales and marketing and business management. You can get that all at dropshiplifestyle.com/blog. So check that out. Okay, let me hop back into YouTube, take a few from here, and then a few more from Facebook. I lost my spot. Where were we? Here. Okay, Kudzai says, hey, Anton, do you recommend designing your own products similar to a winning product? So if you're talking about private labeling, my answer is it depends because it's a totally different business and it's not for everybody. But there is a time and a place for it. I've personally done very well doing this, but I still don't do it on every store, and I still wouldn't recommend it for everybody. If you want kind of like an intro to this to see if it makes sense for you, what you can do, I'm gonna switch screens again, probably making everybody dizzy here with all these switches. Go to eCommerce Lifestyle, that's my podcast. Go to ecommercelifestyle.com/episodes, and I think it was 2 weeks ago. Do so many podcasts, I got lost here. Here it is. Yeah, I did a podcast called Private Label Dropshipping, and you can click into that. Again, this is at ecommercelifestyle.com/episodes. And you see here I have the audio embedded, but I also have a video here walking you through the process and then a complete transcript of this entire episode. So this isn't going to show you how to do it, but it's going to show you what it is, what it means, and if it's a good idea for you. So again, ecommercelifestyle.com/episodes, then look for private label dropshipping. So M says, is an iPad okay to build a store? So I actually recently, I have an iPad, but I bought that new Magic case where the thing's supposed to look like it's floating. And I bought that because I was curious if an iPad is now a computer. And what I would say is, it depends. So if you're comfortable with the, what is it called now? iPad OS. If you're comfortable with the iPad OS ecosystem and file management, like I know they have like the files now and you can have folders and whatnot, then definitely. For me, I'm just so used to using a computer that it would take me longer on an iPad. With that being said, it's 1,000 times easier to use an iPad to do it than a phone. And again, if you're comfortable and you know all the controls for iPad OS, then I don't see why it wouldn't be just as easy on an iPad as it is with a computer. Again, assuming you have like a keyboard and stuff, yeah, you'd be fine. Jose says, what software are you using in this webinar to present the questions? This is a tool called eCam. It just integrates with like YouTube and Facebook. Actually, no, I'm using a tool called eCam to get the video and audio in, but to share the questions, I'm using a tool called Restream. Okay, let me see if we have any more questions on Facebook. I will answer a few of those before we wrap this up, and maybe everybody can get to their barbecues today or whatever you're doing. Let me know. Is anybody doing anything fun today? Does anybody have any plans? Is anybody allowed to go anywhere? I just have a ton of steaks, and I'm planning on making a really good ribeye later. I have some cold IPAs in the fridge that I'm looking forward to. That's all. Let's see what else we have here. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to butcher your name. Arca Diaz says, I want to start two wholesalers. I'm sorry. I want to start two wholesalers, changed my corporation with narrow COVID. At the beginning, I wanted to start in the Polish market. Maybe you can re-ask that question. I'm sorry. I don't really understand that as is. Could just be a reading comprehension thing though. Okay, Mario says, how would you structure your Google ad campaign? I currently have the alpha, beta, waterfall brand product ID. Is that the best way you recommend? Yes, Mario. So the exact way that I show you how to do it in the Dropship Blueprint. I'm not sure when you enrolled in Dropship Lifestyle or when the last time you went through that training is. Not the one in the Google Ads for e-commerce course, but the new one that's within the Blueprint. I updated that whole training maybe 3 months ago or so, and probably like 4 months ago now. But in that training, I show you exactly what you're referring to, how we set it up. The thing that I was referring to with segmenting out different, different products or suppliers, that's not something you do from day one. That's something you do as data starts to come in. But I do cover that in the Google Ads for e-commerce training. It's a long video. I think it's like 2 hours long, only on Google Ads. So I think that one has timestamps below it. If not, I'd recommend going through that, and I explain how we set it up. Okay, Yolanda says, thanks, you are welcome. Fatima says, I plan to go through your course today. Awesome, well, welcome aboard. Georgia says, do you recommend Knit Scraper or eCommerce? No, I don't recommend any tools like that. And the reason is because when you're doing supplier research, when you're doing product research, the data that you're gonna get, where it's most relevant, where it's most accurate is always from Google search results, right? And the best way to do the research is to do it yourself with free tools, literally with google.com and by clicking on the shopping tab. So I show you 4 different ways to verify products and niches. Those are all inside of the free training, even at dropshipwebinar.com. And then here, I'm gonna put it on the screen one more time before we wrap up, but that's also in depth in the Dropship Blueprint, but don't use any tools. Don't pay for any services like that. They're really gonna do more harm than help. You're not gonna get real-time data, and the data you do get is going out to 1,000 other people that are trying to do the same thing as you. So it's not helpful. Mojin says, do you recommend any pages to see how to write an email to a supplier? So I don't think we have any free resources like that, but that is in module 4 of the Dropship Blueprint. It's called Supplier Approvals, or it's called Get Dropshippers. And one of the lessons is our phone scripts and our email scripts. Mario says, awesome, thank you, you are welcome. And Joshua, so yeah, what we'll do, guys, is we're gonna wrap this one up, and just enjoy the rest of your day, but I'll just read the last few comments here. We have Joshua said, I loved your videos, been watching for a bit. I actually had a great idea from one of your videos, so I'm gonna be doing research. Joshua, I love that, that's why I do these. He says, I'm looking to get into the webinar as well. Yep, just go to that website, dropshipwebinar.com. And with that being said, guys, yeah, we've been going just over an hour. So we're gonna wrap this up. Assuming this works correctly, you'll be able to see a replay of this. I know I talked fast. I know we answered a lot of questions. So they should be posted to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel within an hour or so. And as always, if you did get value from this live stream, please do me a favor, give the video a thumbs up or a like, leave a comment below letting me know you learned something. And if you know anybody that would benefit from anything we talked about, do me a favor, click share, let them know, because that's the point, to try to help as many business owners as possible to be able to actually use their time wisely while we're still locked down. So appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Have a great week. And I will talk to you all soon. If you're new, link will be in the description, dropshipwebinar.com. Thank you, everybody. And we will talk next Monday.